You have probably seen 100 videos telling you the must visit places and the top activities to do in bead billing. But I believe travel is not just about seeing places, it's about understanding them, and bead billing is a place that deserves to be understood. So, this isn't a where to go and what to do video. This is an exploration of the lower valley of Beed and why it feels so different from the upper valley. Beyond the paragliding sites and cafes lies a rich and surprisingly diverse history that most visitors never get to see. So today, we're stepping away from the tourist trail to explore the lower valley and uncover why the lower and upper valleys of Beed feel like two completely different worlds.
गुड मॉर्निंग फ्रॉम बीड। बारिश होने का चांसेस भी कम है, बोला है होने का चांसेस भी है, लेकिन कल जैसा मौसम नहीं है एटलीस्ट। नाउ लेट्स गो। मॉनेस्ट्री और उसके पीछे धौलाधर रेंज, इसका एक अलग ही वाइब होता है ना।
एकदम।
It has a different beauty, I must say. This is Chokling Monastery. Oh wow!
So if McLeodganj is the political heart of the Tibetan exile, then Beed is the human story. This isn't just a place of politics, it's a place of survival. When you walk into Chokling Monastery, you aren't just looking at a grand architecture. You're stepping into the sanctuary of the Nyingma lineage, the absolute oldest of the four major schools of Tibetan Buddhism.
This is Chokling Monastery, also known as Peme Amang Chogar Gumling Monastery. This monastery was built in 1966 and it follows Nyingma tradition.
Back in 1960s, an incarnate Lama known as the third Netan Choklin Rinpoche arrived in this valley. He didn't just want to build a temple, he needed to build a safe haven. With the help of some foreign funding, he purchased over 200 acres of land right here to give roughly 300 refugee families a permanent home. When you step inside and look at the majestic statue of Guru Rinpoche, the mystic who originally brought Buddhism to Tibet, you realize this isn't a museum. It is a living, breathing neighborhood of resilience, place where a new generation goes about their daily rhythm, quietly preserving a culture that was almost entirely lost.
कांड हो गया है यहाँ, हमें दौड़ना पड़ रहा है। फास्ट 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 सुपर फास्ट। ट्रेन ना छूटे, ट्रेन ना छूटे, ट्रेन ना छूटे। ट्रेन छूटना नहीं चाहिए, ट्रेन छूटना नहीं चाहिए।
And right outside those peaceful monastery walls, the landscape is shifting fast. Old agricultural fields are rapidly turning into hotels, but cutting right through all this new construction is an iron lifeline to the past.
दिस इज अजू स्टेशन और इसके बाद का स्टेशन है बैजनाथ पखरोला, जहाँ पे हम
बैजनाथ पपड़ोला।
पखरोला
पप-
PAP,
देख लेना तेरे पास टिकट है।
इट्स PAK. Oh, you're right. It's Pokrola.
पपड़ोला।
बैजनाथ पखरोला.
You see this toy train track? It wasn't built for tourists to take scenic joyrides. The British laid this down for one very specific reason, and that's the industrial reason. To haul heavy machinery through the mountains to build the Shannan hydroelectric plant.
ये जो रेलवे ट्रैक है ना, इसका और एक नाम है कांगड़ा क्वीन। ये शुरू हुआ था 1929 में, और ये ट्रैक का शुरू होने का मेन रीज़न था, इट वाज ट्राइंग टू कनेक्ट पठानकोट और द प्लेन्स विद द ऊल रिवर। ऊल रिवर याद है कल हम गए थे ना, शनान हाइड्रो पावर प्लांट, उसी के लिए ये वाला लाइन बनाया गया था। बट नाउ इट सर्व्स एज अ हेरिटेज ट्रेन एंड इट्स ब्यूटीफुल एंड इट्स द बेस्ट चीप स्केप जर्नी फॉर द लोकल पीपल। यू कांट मिस दिस। बीर आ रहे हो तो ये वाला मिस, नो वे, नो वे। एटलीस्ट एक स्टेशन के लिए दिस इज ऑसम। पहुंच गए बैजनाथ पेपरोला। पपरोला स्टेशन बहुत बड़ा है, ट्रेन छोटू है, स्टेशन बड़ा है।
स्लोली चुप 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 करके चुप 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 करके झगड़ा करते करते टॉय ट्रेन में हम लोग पहुंच गए हैं बैजनाथ पखरोला स्टेशन।
और ये है हमारा छोटू सा टॉय ट्रेन, और ये है बैजनाथ पखरोला स्टेशन, और ये है लोगो, और ये है बीवी, और ये है हम, और ये है पागलपंती।
Welcome to Andretta village. Yeah, you heard it right, Andretta. It doesn't really sound like an Indian village, right? That's the beauty of India. It is unexplored, unbelievable, and that is exactly why it is incredible.
When you are a videographer and you see content everywhere, मैं तो गाड़ी से उतरते ही इसको देख के पागल हो गई।
टॉय ट्रेन से उतरने के बाद स्लोली स्लोली गाड़ी लेकर फुल स्पीड में, स्लोली नहीं फुल स्पीड में हम आ गए हैं कहाँ 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 कहाँ?
You forgot actually, no?
एंद्रेता पॉटरी, एंद्रेता।
Oh, okay.
आ जाओ, पॉटर्स रिट्रीट, एंड्रेटा पॉटरी, इस साइड से आओ।
Go.
अभी हम पॉटर बन जाएंगे, हैरी पॉटर। ओह वाओ, एस्थेटिक।
This is the pottery, Andretta pottery.
This is
one.
homestay kind of.
Oh,
This is
oh,
very
Andretta
big.
pottery this side.
Andretta pottery this side. This is kind of a homestay.
The homestay is nice.
Yes.
यहाँ पे भी लोग रहते हैं, इसका मतलब।
हाँ।
देखो
Yeah.
कितना अच्छा तरह के लिखा है, Andretta pottery.
कुमोटुली, कुमोटुली प्रो मैक्स।
We are visiting Kumotuli of Himachal Pradesh.
Back in the 1920s, an Irish theatre artist named Nora Richards rode into this quiet Kangra valley. She fell so deeply in love with the landscape that she built a mud house right here, essentially turning this tiny Himalayan hamlet into a sanctuary of creativity. Soon, painters, actors, and potters from across the country flocked here to escape the noise of the cities. Today, that artistic legacy lives on in the soil itself. At the local pottery studios, the earth of this valley is quite literally shaped by hand. It feels like a place where time isn't just frozen, it is constantly being remolded. Just a short drive down the road brings us to Wah Tea Estate, one of the oldest working plantations in Kangra. When you walk through these sprawling green rows and sit down to actually taste the tea with the owners, you realize you are sipping on pure history.
पॉटरी में कप बनाते बनाते हम लोग थक गए, इसलिए सोचा थोड़ा चाय पी लेते हैं। लेकिन कोई छोटे मोटे दुकान में नहीं, हम लोग इसलिए आ गए हैं चाय की फैक्ट्री में। जैस्मिन टी, कश्मीरी कप। If you want to taste the whole set, then आपको 100 rupees per person देना पड़ेगा, which we are going to do. I'm willing to take that risk. This is kind of Darjeeling tea. Very much kind of Darjeeling tea. This is second flush black tea. थोड़ा ही लेंगे ये, क्योंकि ये हम लोग पीते ही है। थोड़ा वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, ये भी थोड़ा स्ट्रॉन्ग है। आई कुडंट एक्सप्लेन द, हाँ कड़वा है एक्चुअली। यू विल लाइक दिस। नाइस राइट?
Oh, this is tea? This is tea?
Yeah,
It tastes more like coffee and the
Coffee,
smell
yes.
of it.
yeah, you can taste the smell. This one.
Oh, wow.
So this is just the flavor. There's no coffee in it.
Okay.
It's a caramel flavor and a coffee flavor.
Seriously.
This is your kind of tea.
Yes,
He's a coffee
I'm a coffee lover.
Wah Tea Estate's story begins in 1857 when the British established one of the earliest tea plantations in Kangra Valley. Decades later, the estate was acquired by Sir Sikandar Hayat Khan, son of Nawab of Wah in present-day Pakistan, who named the estate after his birthplace. Quite fittingly, the word Wah itself means wow, a feeling the estate still manages to evoke today. But the next chapter of this story begins far from Kangra, in a modest provisions shop in Dehradun. Here, a businessman named Shev Prasad sold tea sourced from nearby estates. What started as a simple trade soon turned into a much larger vision. Opportunity, hard work, and a growing understanding of tea cultivation transformed the family into one of the most respected tea-growing families, the Chaiwalas. Then, in 1953, their journey led them to these very hills when the Chaiwala family took over Wah Tea Estate. More than 70 years later, the estate remains in the hands of the same family, making Wah not just a tea garden, but a living story of enterprise, legacy, and 4 generations of tea growing heritage.
देवभूमि में आए हैं और देव दर्शन नहीं करेंगे कैसे हो सकता है, तो इसलिए चले आए हैं बैजनाथ टेम्पल।
कहाँ है? कहाँ है? कहाँ है? कहाँ है?
अरे इधर है,
इधर है।
वो एंट्री है।
यही एंट्री है। कुछ पाप धोले बेटी, कुछ पाप धोले।
मेरा बाप नहीं है।
पापी।
The history of this place is deeply tied to Ravana. The legend goes that Ravana performed years of extreme penance right here to win the blessings of Lord Shiva. Shiva finally agreed to go with him to Lanka in the form of a sacred Atma Linga. But ultimately, Ravana was unable to take this back with him because Shiva gave him only one massive condition. The stone could never be placed on the ground during the journey. The gods knew that if Ravana made it to Lanka with the lingam, he would be completely invincible. So they orchestrated a trick. On his way back, they forced Ravana to hand the stone to a shepherd. The moment Ravana turned his back, the shepherd placed it on the earth. It instantly became impossibly heavy and rooted itself permanently right here. And the physical history of this stone is just as unshakable as the myth. Stone inscriptions confirm this Nagara-style masterpiece was built in 1204 AD by two local merchant brothers. और उसके बाद चंद डायनेस्टी के टाइम पर संसार चंद ने ये मंदिर को फिर से रिकंस्ट्रक्ट किया है. एंड दिस इज बैजनाथ टेम्पल. तब इसका नाम था बैद्यनाथ टेम्पल. चलो दिखाओ. To the people of this town, Ravana isn't a demon to be burned. He is Lord Shiva's greatest devotee. And out of pure respect for that devotion, this town completely refuses to celebrate Dasera. They will not burn an effigy here. For over 8 centuries, it has defied the earth shifting beneath it. When the devastating 1905 Kangra earthquake absolutely flattened this entire region, this temple miraculously survived with barely a scratch. It simply refuses to fall. Just as we finished the temple, the mountain weather finally caught up with us. It became a literal race to beat the rain to our final stop, hidden deep inside the Bhattu pine forest, Phalpung Sherabling Monastery.
Actually, what we came to know is that now we are going towards Sherabling Monastery. ये पूरा जंगल के बीच में है. एंड ये 100 साल के लिए जो तिब्बती रिफ्यूजीज़ हैं उन लोगों को लीज़ में दिया गया था और फिर एक्सटेंशन हो गया. वो लोग बोले थे कि अगर तिब्बत को फ्रीडम मिल जाए तो दे विल गो बैक टू देयर कंट्री एंड लिव दिस प्लेस. सो यही है ये जगह का हिस्ट्री. आप जब पैराग्लाइडिंग करोगे ना तो ये मोनेस्ट्री आपको ऊपर से दिखेगा. कितना बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. ये मोनेस्ट्री एकदम वो जंगल के बीच में है ना. पूरा आने का रास्ता ही बहुत अलग है.
This place is an absolute masterpiece of preservation. It was established in 1975 by the 12th Taisi Tupa, a high-ranking lama of Kagyu lineage. And they didn't just clear some land to build it. The entire complex was meticulously designed using ancient Tibetan geomancy to perfectly harmonize with the natural environment. Today, it stands as one of the most prominent seats of Tibetan Buddhist learning in the entire world. But to build something of this sheer scale in the middle of a Himalayan forest and to preserve an entire culture in exile requires a massive funding. And that global influx of resources doesn't just build beautiful temples, it quietly changes the ground beneath them. And from here on, the story quietly shifts to a complex situation. We started today with a simple belief that travel isn't just about seeing places, it's about understanding them. We spent today stepping away from the tourist trails to dig into the lower valley, a place that is deeply rooted mix of culture, myth, and imperialism. But to fully uncover the layers of this beautiful landscape, we have to look at what is happening right above us. Next time, we are going to understand the layers across all the monasteries of this region. Because Beer isn't just about peaceful monasteries. It is a story of exile, of politics, of nationalism, and something beyond that. Something that only a few can truly sense. A story of a quiet rift. Because it's where history crossed a border and never really left. We'll uncover it all in the next episode. as we say it, stay curious and happy wandering.
Sorry, cut, eh?